FG makes U-turn on salary increment for civil servants, saying only reviewing some peculiar allowances. Welcome to the news, and please subscribe to our channel. To get notified when we post hot juicy news updates, please click on the notification bell. The federal government on Friday, December 30th, said that it was not planning any upward review of salaries for civil servants, as reported in some national dailies a few days ago. He noted that only some peculiar allowances are currently being reviewed. The Minister of Labour and Employment, Chris Ngige, who made this clarification in a statement, stressed that salary components of workers were not being reviewed, the Nation report. Ngige on Tuesday, December 27th, said the Presidential Committee on Salaries was doing a review and was expected to come up with salary adjustments in the new year. However, the minister on Friday said the increase he talked about was on the remuneration and emolument of the affected workers, especially the civil servants, adding that it is still work in progress. He noted that the end product of the review of allowances will be submitted to President Muhammadu Buhari for consideration and final approval. It has hoped that this step would, which the federal government had embarked upon on compassionate grounds without any pardon or threat to strike, will help to cushion the debilitating effect of spiraling inflation, especially which affects food and energy prices, electricity, and petroleum products, Ngige said. The Presidential Committee on Salaries, PCS, through the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, OSGF, received recommendations for review of allowances of many ministries, departments and agencies, MDAs. Because salary component is not being reviewed for now by the committee, it addressed the allowances component of the request, including the peculiar allowance for federal civil servants, amongst others. In labor parlance, as per payment for compensation for work done, remuneration or emolument is made up of salary component and end allowance component. Therefore, the federal government could not have embarked on the review of salaries without involving the workers through the unions, including the Nigerian Labour Congress, NLC, and the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria. Salary review or negotiation is part of social dialogue, and the product is usually a collective bargaining agreement, CBA, usually agreed to by the employers and the employees. Somebody is saying we have never been favorable with what's it called? Rather, he said Nigerians are very lucky with this Minister of Labour. I'm telling you. Well, my own is that when are we going to have a time in this country where people, and anyway, they have had that time in the past. I was listening to, someone speak, and they was speaking when Nigeria was still good, when a white collar job was desirable. That time when you hear that somebody is working in an office, you can imagine, the kind of, what's it called, benefits the person was going to have. At that time, the person said, that time there was salary, there was housing allowance, there was wardrobe allowance, there was transportation allowance, there was feeding allowance. That time, to do salary, that is what even makes people, because right now and today in our society today, you ask yourself, what is the craziness of getting a job? You get a job that pays you how much? It pays you less than your feeding money. It pays you less than your rent money. You have to save rent for how many months before you get rent? It doesn't make sense to me. To be very sincere with you, it certainly do not make sense to me at all. I'm telling you, speaking from experience. This Ngige should have been fired long before now. He contributed nothing positive to labor. Nigerian workers benefited nothing from his tenure, only anguish, anxiety, and misery. Well, for those who are blaming Ngige, I don't know, but this decision now was taken. I don't think it is by the government themselves. I think so. It is by the government themselves, but whichever way, civil servants are making a no vex na do. Okay, a confused government, salary increasement or not, the people will not die. I don't understand. We are no longer surprised at the fraudulent and crafty antics of the All Progressive Congress-led government of Muhammadu Buhari, for we have reached a stage of no return. Hence, we are prepared for the worst that is forthcoming. Whoever trusts the diminutive Ngige to do anything good for the populace is wasting his or her time. This is a man who had destroyed public universities in Nigeria. He should be in prison. He will later deny that he never said so, Wayo Minister of Labour. Believe this government at your own peril. Just go ahead and do the right thing by not breaking the law. We shall get there as Nigerians. Okay? Nigeria is unfair. Big men have their children in parastatals. They were created by enabling laws. They created them to separate them from core MDAs so that their children will enjoy. If you go to Nimasa, for instance, an entry-level engineer on level 9 takes home over 300,000 a month, which is equivalent to the same level in the core military is taking home 60 to 70,000. This is sheer wickedness. Who buy from the same market, enter the same bosses, it is wickedness that Obi wants to correct in Nigeria. That is why we are talking of salary harmonization across the board. Civil servants are the most poorly paid workers on public service. Civil servants are seriously suffering. Imagine living on a 70,000 naira a month and buying a fuel at 350 naira per liter. It is evil. Tomorrow they will say civil servants are thieves. When you give them poor remuneration and you expect the best from them, you have struck a chord here. Sincerely, you struck a chord. You struck a chord here. And I don't know why there is that kind of, segregation or, I don't know why it is like that, but it should be corrected. Alright, don't believe anything the minister and his government is saying about increment in allowances or even salaries. The allowances Mr. Ngige gives to doctors doing COVID-19 support cannot even afford their cars to pay for a week's transport costs. They are not interested in the welfare of the people, but good in making promises. Looking at the high cost of goods and services, do you need protest before a government committed to welfare of its people can take decisions that will improve the lives of the people? Of course you don't. Of course you don't. But this particular case I'm hearing now, no. The case of, so I don't misquote the person. He said, Nigeria is very unfair. Big men have their children in parastatals. They were created by enabling laws. They created them to separate them from core MDAs. So that their children will enjoy. If you go to Nimasa, for instance, an entry-level engineer on level 9 takes home 300,000, but is equivalent to the same level in a core ministry. He's taking home 60 to 70,000. That is sheer wickedness, if you ask me. Alright, on this note, we've come to the end of the news. We say thank you for tuning in to listen. And until I come your way next time, enjoy the rest of your day.